Dallas Ludlum writes, "Hey Collider crew, I have been watching for the past 3 years and you are always a part of my day.
Thank you.
Do you think that Rogue One can be a gritty and violent enough war film with a PG-13 rating? Thanks and bring on the filthy."
Yeah, it's a fair question, but I absolutely think it can be because, look, in today's modern age, you can get away with so much in PG-13. Look, who are we fooling? We're not gonna, it's a Star Wars movie. We're not going to hear F-bombs being dropped all over the place. We aren't going to hear that at all anyway. That's one of the big things about getting an R rating. There's not going to be any sex and nudity in the film, so you don't have to worry about that. But the violence. Here's the thing. You can have a movie where a giant robot, I'm talking about Transformers, takes a giant sword, shoves it through the gut of another robot, drags the sword up until he splits in half and rips his head off. And you can get PG-13. Why? Because it's not a human being. It's a robot. It's fantasy. It's aliens or whatever. But if you notice in all the Star Wars movies, it's lasers. It's not machetes, whatever. It's lasers. So they hit the guy, you go, "Arr!" and you fall down. You put out the Wilhelm scream and the guy falls down or whatever. There's no blood and gore. And I think you can capture a lot of the violence, the grittiness, the rawness of war in a Star Wars movie without having the things in it that would necessitate an R rating. So personally, look, I would be really intrigued if they suddenly came out and said, Star Wars Rogue One is going to be rated R. I'd be intrigued. But I just don't see any reason why it would need to be. I think you can get all the action and that visceral violence as well, especially in the Star Wars universe, without it needing to be R. So I think PG-13 is just fine. I think it'll work. Schnepp?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Saving Private Ryan. That was PG-13, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I cannot remember.
Because that had one of the most horrifying war sequences I've ever seen, the very beginning. And, you know, I mean, war is not pretty. I mean, Rogue One is all about, you know, the troops on the ground kind of fighting this war. So I don't see the necessity for an R rating at all. I agree with you. I think, you know, Star Wars itself being PG-13, that's enough. And, you know, the level of action and violence that's in a PG-13 is pretty much almost R-rated sometimes. So I don't see it going beyond a PG-13.
What do you think?
Well, here's the thing. I would love a chapter of from the Star Wars universe that's rated R. Didn't they just come out and say Batman? There's going to be an R-rated Batman.
No, it got reported wrong. I mean, someone who's a producer on the project said we got the okay that if it does have to go to an R, we could do that. They didn't say it's rated R. In fact, it will not be rated R. I can almost guarantee you that it'll be rated PG-13. But there's certain scenes that happen in The Killing Joke, the comic book, the graphic novel, that Alan Moore and Brian Bolland did amazingly well, that if they wanted to adapt it and go, even with what's on the page, it could be an R rating because of the psychological damage, less so much the actual visual violence.
And by the way, Saving Private Ryan was indeed rated R.
Oh, wow, okay.
See, I would love a grittier, darker telling of a chapter from the Star Wars universe, but it's never going to happen. They would never have the balls to do that because they risk alienating a huge swath of their audiences. Yeah. And then if it's too dark and scary, moms are going to be like, oh, we can't take them to the next Star Wars movie.
But Hal, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. I don't think it's necessary in the Star Wars world because I know Lucas was like, I want it for kids. And then, you know, as adults and even JJ is like, look, it's going to be for everyone. I mean, but ultimately still kids should be allowed to go enjoy Star Wars. And I would hate to see that happen. Like, oh, well, this one you have to wait till you're 17. You see what I'm saying? All these other
it would absolutely be a departure.
It would. I just
huge.
think science fiction, fantasy, the whole world is open to all of our imaginations.
It's a good point.
R and everything else. But I would like to see Star Wars stay within. Hey, if it has to be PG-13 for action and violence, which it's the second word is wars. It's Star Wars, so I get it. But I would like to see that everyone gets to enjoy it.
Yeah, and remember, once again, with a PG-13 rating, you can do a lot.
Yeah,
with a PG-13 rating, so I think we're going to be just fine there.